My name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. I have been solving data sufficiency problems for GMAT out of this book here, GMAT Review, the official guide, the 12th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You should be able to find it at mba.com. The problem that I'm about to solve is the one that you're going to find on page number 275, number 31. But before I start the 31, I left this thing on the blackboard from the last problem because I thought I should close this off too early, too soon, in case you want to pause this thing and take a look at it and so forth. So, well, voilà. Let's take a look at number 31. If T denotes number 31, if T denotes the 1000th digit in the decimal representation of D above, what digit is T? Alright. So apparently we have a number which they're calling D. And very quickly, for those of you who do not know, or for those of you who might have forgotten, or because you learned this thing probably, my guess is many moons ago. So to refresh your memory, if it comes after the decimal point, the very first one is called the 10th digit, 10th with the T, H, 10th digit. Then we have 100th digit, and then we have 1000th digit, and so forth. And this is 10,000 digit. On the other hand, if I have something like this, 9,345, then 5 is called the unit digit, 4 would be called 10 digit, not 10th. This is the 10th digit, because for example, if you have 0.1, that's the 10th. 0.2 is 2/10, and so on and so forth. So it's the 10th digit. If it comes first digit after the decimal, is 10th. This is a 100 digit, and of course a 1000 digit, and so on and so forth. Do you understand? I know I hear from some of you that sometimes I explain too many concepts that are too elementary, but it does not hurt to make sure that everybody is on board. Because like I said, these are not difficult concepts, these are not tremendously difficult, as I said, to understand. It's just that if you have not come across this thing in many years, over 10 years, maybe 15 years, maybe 20 years, who knows, of course you're not going to remember it. So it's a good idea to listen to it again for a second. Let's solve the problem. The question simply is, what is the 1000th digit? They're not telling you what it is. Our job is to figure out if there is enough information in the two statements that they're going to give us to ascertain the value of T. We do not actually have to figure out what the T is. We just have to be able to tell whether or not we have enough information to figure it out if we had to. But since this problem is so simple, we'll probably go ahead and figure it out anyway. So let's look at the two statements. Statement number 1. Before we do the problem, before I start solution, since this is data sufficiency problems, since this is the data sufficiency problem, singular rather, the very first thing we should do before we forget it is to write down AD, BCE. AD, BCE, to keep track of our inventory so that we know what is left and what is gone. Statement 1 says, if d were rounded to the nearest 100 digit, the result would be 0.44. If d were rounded to the nearest 100 digit, this 0.43t, rounded up becomes 0.44. That's what they tell us in the first statement. That's what they tell us from first statement. What do you surmise from that? What do you gather from that? What do you infer from that? All we can tell, if when you round it to the nearest 100 digit, this 3 becomes 4, this 3 becomes 4, that tells me that this t, whatever it is, this implies that this t must be 5 or greater. Because that's the convention. And if you don't know what oh, I'm digressing too much here. Perhaps you do know it. Convention has two meanings. One meaning, of course, is a gathering or a meeting, as you would go to a convention. Other meaning of the word convention is tradition. Tradition. And if you want to make an adjective out of it, out of convention, if you want to make an adjective, it will become, let's see if I can find a different color, conventional, which means traditional. So the convention is, the tradition is, the way to do the thing in mathematics is that if you're rounding something up, then the rule is that if that digit, following digit after that, if it is 5 or more, then when you round up, this 3 becomes 4. On the other hand, if this t were, for example, if it were 0.433, and you tell me to round this thing to the nearest 100th digit, this number rounded to nearest 100th digit will just remain 0.43. But instead of 3, had it been 6, rounded to nearest 100th digit, this is not 100, yeah, nearest 100th digit, this 0.436 will become 0.44. And that's what they're telling us here. They're telling us, let me read what they tell you in the first statement one more time. It says, if d were rounded to the nearest 100th digit, the result would be 0.44. All that means is that, all we can gather from that is that this t, whatever that is, must be 5 or more. But that does not tell us what t exactly is. So the first statement by itself is no good. It doesn't do the job. Since the first statement by itself is no good, it does not do the job, it does not enable us to answer what t is. Answer cannot be A, nor can it be D. Let's look at the second statement. Let's look at second statement. Where should I put the second statement? I don't want to erase anything here. Let's look at second statement. Second statement says, if d were rounded to the nearest 1000th digit, the result would be 0.436. 0.43. Ah, voila. 0.43. Oh, there you go. That does the job. 0.43t5 rounded to nearest 1000th becomes 0.436. Well, if it becomes 0.436, then this t must have been 5 to begin with. This t must have been 5 because you just told me that when I round it to the nearest 1000, it becomes 6. 0.436. It could not be 7. Had it been 7, it would have become 8. Had t been 2, it would have become 3. Since you just told me that when I round it to the nearest 1000th digit, 10th digit, 100th digit, 1000th digit, when I round this number to the nearest 1000th digit, this t becomes 6. That tells me that t must have been 5. There you go. Second statement by itself is enough. This implies that t must have been 5. Implies that t must have been 5, which becomes 6 upon rounding. So second statement by itself is enough. The answer is B. As we say in the desert. And that was it. That was the end of it. That's all she wrote. I hope you found it helpful. If you wish to get hold of me for personal private tutoring, I do face-to-face tutoring, obviously, one-to-one tutoring. I also tutor over the internet via Skype, and I do tutoring over the telephone. It does work. If there is anything that I can help you with, send me an email. Go to my website at www.prep.for4gmat.com and send me an email. All right? Or you can go to www.keshwaniprep.com and send me an email. Okay? Thanks.